And welcome back to the latest anime news for the week ending April 17th, 2021. Yes, I got the date right in there. Imagine that. So, one second. That's weird. I think we're good. Okay. Moving right along. It was announced way back in 2018 that Sunrise was collaborating with Legendary Pictures on a live action Gundam film. This week brought another update. By way of Netflix, the service's Twitter account announced that it's part of the production of the film and also revealed the film's producer and director. The tweet reads, Grab your mobile suits. Jordan Vaught Roberts has been set to direct and produce Legendary's first ever live-action feature film version of Sunrise's Gundam for Netflix. He previously directed Legendary's Kong Skull Island, and is also a video game and anime fan, describing himself on Twitter as, quote, seeing the world through an anime-tinted lens, end quote. Sunrise also tweeted about the film this week, confirming the co-production has officially begun. Comic book author Brian K. Vaughan of Ex Machina and Runaways is writing the script for the film, and also serves as executive producer. And Legendary's Cale Boyder, who previously worked on Detective Pikachu, will oversee the project, along with the director of Netflix original films. There have been 2 previous attempts of a live-action Gundam, although neither of them could be called successful. In '83, Bandai, which had not yet acquired Sunrise, made an agreement with Lionsgate Films to make a live-action Gundam, the goal of using CGI for the majority of effects. We never got a chance to see an 80s CGI Gundam. Imagine that. But we did get G-Savior in 1999 by Canadian company Polestar, although it included none of the Japanese staff and creators of Gundam, or the term Gundam itself, and is generally just not really well loved by fans of the series. So yeah, Netflix live-action Gundam film. Here's my question: Do you think it is a better choice for the franchise to go more limited, if you will, on Netflix, so you don't have to do a massive marketing blitz for the entire world, spend $100 million on marketing? Or do you go, for a wide film release and then at least get the exposure? Even if folks don't come to see the movie, they, at least the word Gundam is on the airwaves more.
Didn't we just talk about last week that Gundam in 25 years has sold 700 million model kits? I mean, they don't really need a lot of advertising. All they need to do is just basically yell out the window, be like, Gundam movie! And then people will be like, oh, Gundam movie.
Well, I don't know. In North America, though. Do your coworkers know what Gundam is?
They may not know what Gundam is, but if it's, there won't be a kaiju involved, but they're going to think Pacific Rim.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and so if they can tap into the Pacific Rim fan base, then that'll be fine. Now, I think that the fact that they got the director for
Kong Skull Island. Was that good or bad?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. It's the precursor to the movie that's out right now.
The Godzilla Kong film?
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
And so I think if you're having someone who's used to scale in their movies, like this guy is, then that's kind of a bonus.
It's true.
So it won't look weird and lopsided. Like I felt Pacific Rim was kind of weird and lopsided the way they did that. But that was just my own thing. But yeah, I think they could do a movie, and I think it would do moderately well. If they want to be assured of success, then Netflix is the way to go. But Netflix will be, the assurance would be the Gundam market, because the Gundam market would go to Netflix and be there.
I would almost want to see them do a live action OVA. You know what I mean? Something that's proof of concept, because doing it, how do you tackle Gundam in a live action film that you're going to have to market it internationally? So it's not just you're going to make, you're not going to just look at Japan and be like, oh, it'll do great there because it always does. And you've got to make it do great here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's gotta be enough of the story for old school folks to be like, okay, I can get in on this and I know where you're going. And people who are like, ooh, I liked Pacific Rim. I liked, the Kong kaiju thing. This is gonna be more like that kind of thing. And that they're gonna make sense out of this.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd almost like to see an OVA that's a shorter version that you could sort of run up the flagpole and be like, okay, are people going to see this and be like, wow, the Sci-Fi Channel made a movie again? It's like, I want to see what you're doing with this and how much you're going to be able to deliver character development and just the mechanical functionality of a Gundam and combat with Gundams.
Yeah.
Now, if you prove that, then I think you could have a potential sky's the limit. But
what I've seen like the middle 20 minutes or so of Kong Skull Island just on TV at some point. And for what it's worth, 69% on audience score on Kong Skull Island on Rotten Tomatoes. So as a note, and it does very much have that sense of scale of big things versus small things, and just the way the big thing moves relative to the small things. One thing I like about Kong is that he does move relatively quickly. He's not just a giant hulking thing that you're just kind of shooting things at. Like, he can swing a fist through the air and take out a helicopter.
Right.
So I definitely think in terms of, if you're going to choose somebody, this person definitely would have the chops in that perspective. But I hear you. I don't know. Edman40 saying in a chat, certain properties are meant for the medium they're created for. Gundam is a very anime property. It works great in manga too. Like that's fine as well. But yeah, it's hard to adapt Gundam to live action.
That's where it's going to be really interesting. And I mean, and it's Netflix, so if it is just terrible, and they absolutely own the rights to it, they can be like, nah, let's go put that in the back of the catalog somewhere, or find a way to bury it.
No one will be surprised.
Right.
True.
Right.
They'll be more surprised at wild success than they will at like not doing anything. So.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if that's part of like the meeting section. Be like, hi, Jordan. We have no expectations for this, but here's some money. Go wild. Let's see what we get. Like,
and it should be pointed out, like there are a lot of properties where folks are like, this doesn't need to be Star Wars, right? Let's make this. Let's see if we can make success out of it. It might just do okay. That's all right. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
It has some brand recognition and see where it goes.
Yeah.
So hopeful. But as we said before, I don't think any of us are staking our emotional health on the success of a live action Gundam movie. Like, whatever happens, happens.
Steve's pachinko parlor relies
That's true.
on this.
That is true. We do have to be careful about that one.
Oh.
That's what the animation's for. It's for the pachinko machines when they're
Exactly.
making, so that they will actually have the pachinko stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Wesley, it's hard because it depends on what you mean by popular, and I don't mean that to be evasive. Wesley's saying that Gundam and Macross Robotech are very popular in the Caribbean and South America. Is it not as popular in the U.S.? It's like Robotech particularly. It was very much part of the zeitgeist of the '80s, but that's kind of dissipated to an extent by now, in terms of general popularity with kind of the average American. They probably heard the name, but they couldn't point at something and say, "Oh yeah, that's Robotech." And Gundam just has not yet penetrated to the average person. Anyone who saw that in Ready Player One is like, "Oh, it's a giant robot." Okay, but they wouldn't have connected that to be the RX-78 too. So yeah, it just hasn't gone. Now within anime fandom, Gundam has skyrocketed over the past couple decades. It used to be this really small niche thing, and now it's pretty common. I don't know. Anyway, moving along. Anime production company AIC announced on Friday that it signed a business alliance with Toei Agency. The two companies now share joint ownership of several of AIC's anime properties and will jointly produce, develop, and operate new content based on them. These are two basically anime studios, or anime studio kind of parent company things. The companies now co-own copyrights for series including the Tenchi Muyo franchise.
Wow.
Yeah. the Megazone 2-3 franchise.
Ooh.
Which, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dangayo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is the reaction everyone has.
Huh?
The Bubblegum Crisis
Nani?
franchise.
Interesting.
Yes. The Gall Force franchise. And
Lord.
others. Both companies plan to develop new content for these shared franchises, such as AIC's ongoing 35th anniversary celebration anime reboot projects, which is set to include a brand new project in the Megazone 2-3 franchise, plus a Megazone 2-3 remake, plus a Pretty Sammy sequel.
Wow.
And others. Yes. Not a Pretty Sammy sequel. Toei agency will also serve as the conduit for future business opportunities, so kind of making use of that big Toei marketing machine. Wow.
Boy, please don't make the Megazone. Don't make the new one be like
Don't make
1
crap.
to 2. You're like, oh look, it's all their grandkids again. Like, no. They
No.
redid it again. Like, so it's just awful. So please don't screw it up.
No, it's all going to be a bunch of cute lollies.
Oh god.
No.
They're gonna leverage the Toei franchise characters, so it's all gonna be like these kind of cute animal characters doing stuff. Yeah, they'll be like, what the hell is going on here?
What I find so interesting is that AIC's doing a big 35th anniversary thing, and of all the things in the Tenchi Muyo franchise, they decided to do Pretty Sammy. I just saying.
I don't get that very much.
There must be somebody's like deep passionate love for Pretty Sammy that's really driving that one.
And don't get me wrong, I love Pretty Sammy, but it's like weird. So yeah,
I wonder if there's any kind of like other rights tied up somewhere in some of the Tenchi stuff where Pretty Sammy's the least legally difficult thing to deal with.
Good point. Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, Josh, I think that the Square Enix merger kind of does have sort of some parallels here. Because the AIC's been in an interesting spot where they kind of have felt they've kind of lost their way a little bit over the past decade or so. Just kind of not really making use of those franchises the way you kind of expect them to. So hopefully this will infuse things, Bubblegum Crisis, again, Cyberpunk, one of the foundational Cyberpunk anime, bring that back, please.
I was just thinking, if you want fresh new anime and you're using these nice new or older concepts in anime, Pretty Sammy saves Megazone 2-3.
There we go. Go.
And Tenchi and the group show up then to pilot it back with their tree ships to the home planet Jirai.
I mean, Pretty Sammy got a mech at one point, so that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Megazone is just a repurposed tree ship.
A
Jirai tree ship.
Jirai technology.
Yep.
It all makes sense.
Exactly. And then we don't find that out till Pretty Sammy. I don't know. Somebody's taking notes furiously out there now for a doujinshi. Be like, this is brilliant. Like, okay, you guys run with it. Until you make money, then it's mine.
There we go. Speaking of making money on well-known properties, why did that? Oh, there we go. Right, because we had a thing. Sorry. This week's issue of Akira Shoten's Besatsu Shonen Champion revealed that a new manga is coming in next month's issue based on some very classic characters. Spanish artist Kenny Ruiz is collaborating with Tezuka Productions to create a new manga based on various different characters from Osamu Tezuka's manga. The space spectacle manga will be titled Team Phoenix and will launch on May 12th with a 50-page first chapter.
Really?
Yeah. It takes place in a universe almost entirely ruled by a robot alliance. A knight named Sapphire becomes troubled over the pain of non-robots and makes a decision for a new future. In any case, anyone needs a reminder, Tezuka was the god of manga and created Astro Boy, Jungle Emperor Leo, Princess Knight, Dororo, and Phoenix, among others. Yeah. Very interesting to see another artist do a take on classic Tezuka characters, much like we got with Pluto, Naoki Urasawa's Pluto, which was a very different take on a classic Tezuka story. So intriguing. Also intrigued that it's not like adapting a Tezuka story.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to mishmash a bunch of stuff together.
Right.
So, very interesting. Very cool.
It'll get the inspired by Tezuka label.
Yeah, exactly. Also this week, stories we wanted to mention, but may or may not dwell on. Love this one. Gundam creator Yoshiki Tomino made a brief appearance on a TV Asahi special about anime this week, and his comment promises plenty more to come from the 79-year-old director. The show's staff visited Sunrise to look at design archives from Gundam, and while there, asked him what his thoughts were on modern anime. He replied, "Giant robot shows are for kids, but while I'm alive and can make new works, I'll crush Demon Slayer and Evangelion."
He's a fiery old man.
If I didn't think that ambitiously, I wouldn't be making TV anime past the age of 80.
That's a certain level of awesomeness right there.
Damn.
Love it.
Wow.
That's the kind of guy he is. Just if we're gonna do it, we're gonna put all of our passion and interest into it.
Damn.
A TV anime was announced this week based on Shinichi Fukuda's My Dress Up Darling manga. The story follows a recluse whose dream is to be a doll artisan, and his trendy, popular classmate who ropes him into her secret cosplay hobby.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, sure. Pannen ni Hako's This Healer's a Handful manga is also inspiring a TV anime. It describes itself as an isekai burnt-out adventure comedy, which centers on a hopeless swordsman and a sarcastic, sharp-tongued healer.
I'll watch that.
Yeah. Will you watch The Great Jahi Will Not Be Defeated, which is a TV anime coming from a manga set to air this summer? It tells the story of Jahi, the Dark Realm second-in-command, who has an unfortunate run-in with a magical girl and gets sent to the human realm with no powers.
Of course I'll watch that, because that's the Demon Lord is a part-timer.
Yeah.
Because the Demon Lord doesn't have powers in the human realm. It's like he opens the portal and comes through, and he's just a normal person Demon Lord guy.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I was just going to say, it sounds like a Star Trek episode where Q loses his powers. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
I watched that, so sure.
Speaking of, then you might want to watch A Skeleton Knight in Another World, a TV anime from a light novel series. The main character falls asleep gaming one night, wakes up in the game world, but as a skeleton.
So, Overlord?
Yeah. The skeleton is terrifying looking, but apparently it's just a level 1 skeleton. So,
So Overlord meets Spider. So I'm a Spider and Demon Lord and Overlord, and you get the first level skeleton guy. Okay.
There we go. How about The Faraway Paladin? This is a light novel series following a human boy named Will, raised in a ruined city by 3 undead, as he works to unravel the mysteries of the past. Okay? You up for that?
Well, hell yeah.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I can't say that's one I've ever seen as a concept.
I've seen it before.
Is he alive, or is he also dead? It says human voice. I'm assuming he's alive. Like undead. Wow. Okay.
It's
okay. So 3 undead.
What's that Neil Gaiman story? The Neil Gaiman novel from a few years back. The Graveyard Book. The boy,
yes.
Yeah, the boy who's raised in a graveyard by the ghosts in the graveyard.
By like ghouls or
well,
ghosts?
No, ghosts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it's hard to raise a living child by ghouls and things like undead, because eating flesh and brains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll just nibble him
Diversity.
a little bit.
We also have a new film in the anime adaptation of the humorous and adorable Evolutionary Creatures book series. It's basically humorous introductions to cool and surprising animal facts. There were several 4 short anime series and a series of live-action shorts, so it's getting a film coming up. And Toei announced on Friday it's producing a second anime film based on the science manga survival study manga series, which follows kids on various educational adventures. The first was on the human body, and the upcoming will adapt in the Survive in the Deep Sea story. So, sounds fun.
I'm still waiting for another part of Are You Lost? You know, that was the survival of the 4 girls on an island
Yeah.
after their school trip went awry.
Mhm.
And they're, as far as the series is concerned, at least anime, they're still on the damn island. So
Yep.
so
Mm-hmm.
we want to hurry that one up a little bit.
Yeah. Not sure if yeah. Who knows? Singer Eimer, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, and animator and director Rio Timo have joined forces to create an original short anime project called Night World. It's a 7-minute short anime which debuted on Eimer's YouTube channel yesterday, with direction by Rio Timo and theme song Trill by the singer. If you're planning to see the Demon Slayer Mugen Train film sometime soon, or have seen it already and want some background, head to Funimation to watch the 3 Demon Slayer TV episodes that were aired on Japanese TV last year. They're available in both subbed and dubbed versions on Funimation in the US, Canada, UK, and Ireland. Also an Anime Lab from Australia and New Zealand.
Wow.
Now, BMW has announced they're sponsoring esports teams, which will star together in an 8-chapter isekai manga by artist Aki Bright, which is called Heroes of Rivalry, where the players will be portrayed as heroes in a fantasy virtual training simulation. I love this. The manga promises to, and I quote, also provide surprising news about the future of the BMW esports involvement, end quote. I don't think I've ever seen a more corporate announcement than that.
So we have Super Cub for Honda, and now we're going to have like electric BMW car ad show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not even electric. It's just an esports thing. The final chapter of Attack on Titan was published in last week's issue of Kodansha's Busatsu Shonen magazine after 11 years. The normal run apparently hasn't been enough. The issue is selling out in stores one after the other. Sales prompted an urgent second printing of the issue, which will arrive in bookstores across Japan April 30th.
And sell out promptly.
I wonder if that will become a collector's item. Like just that issue.
They're gonna have to stop the second printing then.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the death of Superman
Yeah.
would have been a collector's item, except for they're like, oh, this is gonna be super hot and popular. Let's make 80 million of them. You're like, dude, whoa, slow down, no.
6 variant covers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
BMW Kun. Oh dear.
Yeah, here we go.
Next Isekai series, they're all BMWs. Truck Kuns all coming at you.
Driven by hamsters.
Yeah. No, my copy of Buddha over there, someone Tetsuka's Buddha, they published the hardcovers in limited runs for 2 deliberate reasons. One was because they're expensive and there's the market is small, but also to say, okay, we know we will sell this many, and so we will make our print, and then we can always do like a paperback printing later. But now you can't find them anywhere. Like it's gone. It's done.
Yeah.
Wow. So $200 for one of those volumes these days.
Damn.
Yep. That's all the news for this week. Thank you for watching. See you all next week. Let's see here. What else?
I wonder if the Siberian forests in Russia have a deafening chainsaw roar as people are going for Attack on Titan manga. The first printing was 1/4 of this entire area.
Yeah.
The next printing is going to be 1/2 this entire area. Like, oh, crap.
Yeah, it's I wonder because that folks
Wait a
do
minute.
kind of love that thing.
What about my toilet paper, you bastards? I still can't get my
God made
4-ply.
leaves for.
Yeah, but I can't still get my 4-ply Hello Kitty toilet paper from Korea.
Yeah.
They don't have any. I found it was what is it? It was 36 rolls per pack,
Wow.
2-pack in a box,
Mhm.
and I found one that was like, I think it was a 12-pack, and it was like $60. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Hello Kitty, damn you.
All right, I'm gonna talk about something I like.
Oh.
Which I don't know if you guys have seen. We'll see.
All right.